Hello and welcome back to Shakesyear. We are working on Thomas Lord Cromwell and we get to hear from Bagot again today in Act 2, Scene 2. But oh no, as I mentioned yesterday, we've got some scenes that we need to just do a quick recap on because they don't have monologues in them. Just yesterday we finished off with Act 1, Scene 3 and today we're in Act 2, Scene 2. So there's some background that we need to fill in. But the important parts are Cromwell has accepted a job. It's like his first official post somewhere, and he went off to Antwerp to do that. And Bagot tried to get Bannister in trouble with Friscobal because Bannister owes money to Friscobal, but Friscobal was very forgiving and much more lenient with the payment terms of this loan, that Bagot was like, you know what, I'm going to run around, I'm going to buy up all of the rest of his debt, and I'm going to make his life miserable just because, I expected to get a lot of money from this and I only got one coin. So that was Act 1. Act 2, all of a sudden, we're a Greek tragedy because there's an Act 2 prologue. It's 10 lines long, which sort of makes me question whether or not it's really necessary or if they could have just established the scene some other way. But in the prologue for Act 2, we learn that, it's just a chorus that comes out and says it. We learn that Cromwell is now working in Antwerp, which we knew he was going to go do that. We learn that Bannister has gone to Antwerp to get away from Bagot, so that kind of makes sense. But then we also learned that since he heard about this, Bagot has decided to go to Antwerp also to chase down Bannister, and he sent like his debt memos in advance of him getting there so that hopefully when he gets to Antwerp, he'll be able to collect on his debts without major problems. So all of that is covered in the 10-line Act 2 prologue presented by the chorus. Moving on, Act 2, Scene 1. We are in Antwerp and we are in Cromwell's office, and he's sitting there. He's functioning as a sort of accountant, and there's all these bags of money sitting around him, and he's like, I'm doing a really good job, but I'm dreaming of bigger things, and I wish I could be traveling and stuff, which sort of continues with the whole Disney princess theme for who Cromwell is as a character. But then a post-person, a postman, a postwoman, a post-person comes in, and he's like, here, these are the bags of money that you're supposed to take around to various places. You're going as far as Frankfurt, right? And the post-person's like, yep, that's where I'm going. He's like, okay, this is where you need to take all this stuff, and be careful to go quickly so that you don't get robbed, and here's a little bit of money to encourage you to go quickly. So the post-person is very happy about that, and they leave to go do their thing, and Mistress Bannister comes in and she's like, are you Cromwell? And he's like, yes, I am. And she's like, do you know Bagot? Have you heard of Bagot? And Cromwell's like, no, I don't. But I have some debt memos here saying that Bannister owes some money to Bagot or something like that. And she's like, yes, I am Mistress Bannister. My husband is now in the hands of the governor because Bagot chased us here from London to track down this money and to make our lives miserable. Is there anything that you can do to help? Can we get my husband unarrested? Can we get him freed? Can we do a something? Is there any leniency that you can help me with in those debt memos? Like anything that you can help with? And Cromwell takes pity on her. He's like, I will do what I can. Let me take a look at all of this. And meanwhile, while I'm doing that, here's a little bit of money to just tide you over until things get a little bit better. And she says, thank you. And she exits, and Cromwell gets just a brief moment alone on stage to get sort of philosophical about the state of things. He feels really bad for her, but he is a bit of a fatalist. He thinks that the future is predetermined. So he's like, fortune's gonna do what fortune's gonna do. And that's the end of Act 2, Scene 1. Act 2, Scene 2, we are on a street in Antwerp, and Bagot comes in by himself, and he kicks off the scene saying, so all goes well as I would have it. Bannister, he is with the governor, and shortly shall have gyves upon his heels. It glads my heart to think upon the slave. I hope to have his body rot in prison, and after here his wife to hang herself, and all his children die for want of food. The jewels that I have brought to Antwerp are reckoned to be worth £5,000, which scarcely stood me in £300. I bought them at an easy kind of rate. I care not which way they came by them that sold them me. It comes not near my heart. And lest they should be stolen, as I'm sure they are, I thought it meet to sell them here in Antwerp, and so have left them in the governor's hand, who offers me within £200 of all my price. But now, no more of that. I must go see if my bills be safe, the which I sent to Master Cromwell, that if the wind should keep me on the sea, he might arrest him here before I came. And in good time see where he is. God save you, sir. So this is a smidge more of Bagot twisting his evil mustache, and he is not being at all subtle about what kind of villain he is here. He's like, haha, mwahahaha, I have managed to follow Bannister to Antwerp and make his life miserable. He has been arrested, and I hope that he is thrown in jail where he will rot away to nothing, which will drive his wife to commit suicide and will make his children die of starvation. This is what he legit wishes for Bannister, which, yeah, Bagot's not a great guy. But then to add to the fact that he's not such a great guy, he says that he brought some jewels with him that he bought off of somebody for £300 that are estimated to be worth £5,000. And he's pretty sure that they were stolen from somebody before he bought them. But he really doesn't care about that. He just wants to try to get the £5,000 that they're worth. So he has left those jewels. He thought that it was better to sell them in Antwerp, far away from where they had been stolen. And he's left them with the Antwerp governor to keep an eye on. And apparently the Antwerp governor has made him a pretty good offer where he's going to get almost that full £5,000 for these jewels. And he's like, okay, that's great. But I'm going to go check in with Cromwell and see if he got those debt memos that I sent to him, so maybe he would have already taken care of Bannister before I even got here. But before he can even make a move to go find Cromwell, Cromwell enters. So he's like, oh, good to see you, good day, good, God save you, sir. And Cromwell is like, yes, and also to you. Who are you? And he's like, I'm Bagot. I'm here. I sent you some paperwork for you to take a look at. And Cromwell is going to have some thoughts on that in tomorrow's monologue. So I will see you then. Mwah.